This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
We begin first tonight with Storm Team 6. Scattered showers are moving out and making way for a very nice start to the new week. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock tonight. I'm Nicole Griffin in the tracking center with meteorologist Kyle Mounts. Kyle, I feel like today was very dark, wet, rainy.
Yeah, for most of us, we had some scattered showers that lingered off and on throughout the day, but it's needed rainfall, certainly. Didn't add up to a whole lot. 1/10 of an inch officially in the rain gauge in Indianapolis. That's so far. I think we're still going to add a little bit more here. As we take you to Storm Team 6 radar, you can see that things are a little more active here. We've got a band of some showers, no thunderstorms in this, but kind of lined up from around Anderson and Alexandria through Indianapolis, and then as we work our way along I-70 toward Terre Haute. And you can see decent steady rain right now moving through central portions of Hendricks County between Danville and the Avon area. That's going to continue to slide toward the east and northeast, also from Shelbyville into the Nashville and Brown County area. Some lighter rain and more of that extends back into western portions of Greene County. So here's a look at TrueCast by 8 o'clock this evening. Some very light scattered rain showers, but you notice that's pretty persistent overnight and even into tomorrow morning. You may need that umbrella, especially Indianapolis areas to the south and east. There you can see the low clouds as we look west with some more of that rain on the horizon. 61 degrees in Indianapolis. A little bit warmer, though, in Kokomo, where you really haven't had to deal with much of the rain. 65. Next few hours of the forecast, some scattered showers central and south with temperatures holding steady in the lower 60s.
Kyle, thank you. RTV6 is working for you tonight with a call to action. People living in Perry Township want to know who is turning a parking lot of a Perry Township school into a drag strip. Only RTV6 reporter Graham Hunter has the exclusive video. He's also talking to neighbors about what's happening outside Rosa Parks Elementary near Southport Road and South Belmont Avenue.
Neighbors tell me it all comes down to this gate being left open here at the back of the school. They say that's what's allowing drivers to come in here and use the parking lot at night for what's called drifting. You can see it in this video. A neighbor sent this to us. You'll see a couple cars, one white, one red, doing donuts in the parking lot while squealing their tires. They even come close to making contact a couple times. You can still see skid marks left in the pavement. Neighbors tell me this has gone on several times this summer, and they want it to stop because there are a lot of young kids living in this community. In fact, there are several houses that back right up to the parking lot. I talked to a woman who asked me not to show her face out of concern the drivers might retaliate.
I heard squealing tires, and it just continued and continued. It sounded like there was a crowd. It looks to appear that there is a gate that they could put down where it keeps cars from going in there, and it would certainly reduce the risk, I think.
We did reach out to the school district to see if it's possible that these gates could be closed, but it is a weekend and we have not yet heard back. Working for you from Perry Township, Graham Hunter, RTV6.
All right, Graham, thank you. New information into the newsroom tonight about a deadly plane crash near Kokomo. We now know the name of the pilot who died in the crash. The Howard County coroner confirms Dr. Daniel Greenwald of Tampa, Florida, was the pilot. The crash happened around 5 o'clock Saturday at the corner of State Road 22 and County Road 300 East. Greenwald was flying a twin-engine plane that crashed into a soybean field. The FAA and NTSB are now investigating to determine why the plane went down. Metro Police are investigating a shooting at an apartment complex on the west side. Officers were called out to Maple Creek Village Apartments near West Michigan Street and Holt Road around 7:30 this morning. When they arrived there on scene, they found a person shot. The victim was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Right now, details about what led up to this shooting and who is responsible have not been released. Call Crime Stoppers tonight if you want to leave an anonymous tip. That number, 317-262-TIPS. The White House is now responding tonight to news that ABC broke this morning that there is now a second whistleblower alleging presidential wrongdoing. Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham says no matter how many whistleblowers come forward, it doesn't change the fact that the president, quote, has done nothing wrong. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott with the details.
Breaking news this morning in the battle over impeachment.
ABC News has learned that the legal team representing the first whistleblower is now representing a second whistleblower.
Their attorney telling us that second person is described as an intelligence official with first-hand information of some of the allegations outlined in the original whistleblower complaint, and that the person has been interviewed by the Inspector General.
The evidence of wrongdoing by Donald Trump is hiding in plain sight.
It was the first whistleblower's complaint that triggered the impeachment investigation. It alleged President Trump abused his power by repeatedly urging the leader of Ukraine on a phone call to investigate his potential 2020 rival Joe Biden and his son. Just last week, the president also called on China to investigate the Bidens.
You really think he was serious about thinking that China's going to investigate the Biden family?
He said it right there in public. Why can't you answer yes or no? Do you think it's appropriate?
I don't, because I don't think that's what he did.
Republican Senator Susan Collins joining a small group of Republicans publicly condemning the president, calling the president's request to China completely inappropriate, but not commenting on the Ukraine phone call.
I don't want to prejudge the evidence. Plus, not all the evidence is in yet.
The president laser focused on Biden and his son Hunter, who had overseas business dealings, while his father helped carry out the Obama administration's foreign policy as vice president. Biden penning an op-ed in the Washington Post saying the president slanders anyone he sees as a threat.
It's only a benefit for Joe Biden to stand up in a forthright, very energetic way and take the fight directly to Donald Trump day in and day out.
There has been no finding of wrongdoing by either Joe Biden or his son. Rachel Scott, ABC News, Washington.
Rachel, thank you. Tonight, 3 families on the east side are dealing with damage to their homes after a fire last night that was likely caused by lightning. Indianapolis firefighters responded just after 3:30 this morning to Mallard Glen Court in a neighborhood near Southeastern Avenue and Thompson Road. A 71-year-old man was asleep when he was alerted by his home alarm system of the fire. He then woke up and smelled the smoke. He evacuated and saw the fire coming from his roof. Then an alert Uber driver who just dropped off a customer saw the flames spreading to one of the neighbors' homes and then knocked on the door until they woke up. One firefighter was injured fighting the fire due to possible heat exhaustion. The fire is still under investigation tonight. Community members and leaders on the Far East Side are focusing on reshaping the narrative on how people view their community. Their ultimate goal is to create a safer space for kids and bring life back into a community that has been impacted by violence. After a year of planning, a ribbon cutting marks the opening of the Capital City Green Space at 42nd and Post Road. Capital City Church of Christ received a community green space grant from Keep Indianapolis Beautiful. It's a project that started last year in collaboration with the Ross Foundation and the Indiana Historical Society. Sheila Sexton volunteered and donated manpower to build the design for the green space in just 2 days. Now the vision for 42nd and Post is being brought to light. Next up, they plan to create a mural that should be completed by this spring. As part of the ongoing effort to improve the Far East Side, dozens of people were out cleaning up the area of 42nd and Post Road this weekend. It's part of a monthly cleanup effort also organized by Darius Ross and the Ross Foundation. They've been focusing on making that area look better for the last 3 years. Ross says by cleaning up trash, it helps improve morale, environmental stress, and ultimately reduce violence. Midwest Fest, a local business that hosts car shows on the Far East Side, was also out giving back as well. Ross says it is amazing to see different groups from different backgrounds support the cleanup efforts because he says it takes a village to make a difference. Church is the place to go when you're seeking comfort from a higher power. But today, one local church threw open its doors, praising the potential of solar power. All the details when we come back. Kyle.
And we'll still take that rain where we can get it, the heaviest of which will fall south of Interstate 70 overnight. We'll track this system out of here and talk about the potential of some frost in your 7-day planning forecast. You're watching RTV6 News at 6.
Yeah, I did a great job.
This is RTV6 News at 6, working for you.
This weekend, people are getting the opportunity here in Indianapolis to learn more about solar power. The goal to get them interested in putting solar panels on their home, business, or even church. The Unitarian Universalist Church of Indianapolis is taking part in a national solar tour. Today, church members held an open house. People were able to see their solar panels that they are currently using up close, find out how they work, and learn why the church made the decision to go solar. Right now, 4 of the church's 5 buildings are connected to the solar panels.
The ones that the solar panels are supplying, our bill was $40, which is the standard rate for this church to hook up to the electric grid. Right. It proves to me that it's a good idea, for one thing, and I know that my church is, like I think almost all congregations, can always use some more money, and we can use that money that we would have been sending to the electric company to do service projects or other projects that we would do as a normal church.
Well, that $40 bill is compared to $188 for the 5th building. That is the cost for standard electricity per month. The church did have to raise $75,000 to get the solar panels. They are now part of the Indy Green congregation, which helped found Hoosier Faith Power, that helped get solar panels at 50 congregations across the state. Today, people are celebrating the return of fall in the outfield where the Indianapolis Indians play over at Victory Field. The ball field was transformed into Rowdy's Pumpkin Patch. Kids 14 and under were able to run around the outfield and pick out their favorite pumpkin to take home for free. They also got the chance to ride on a hayride, jump in a bounce house, or meet Rowdy, who was dressed up as a scarecrow. Organizers say it's a chance for families to experience Victory Field in a way they never have before.
We've came to several games this year. They love it. They're having a great time.
The fact that we can provide families this type of experience means a lot to us. It also gives us a cool use of the ballpark in a time of the year where we don't typically play games, but the ballpark is still as beautiful as ever. So it's really special to us to be able to provide that kind of experience for families.
The Indians focus on putting families first, and they say events like this show their commitment to the community. And Kyle, I feel like today's weather was good for this event because it was a little cooler.
Yeah, very fall-like. 65 was the best we could do on the thermometer because of the clouds and the showers around. Right now we sit at 61 degrees. That wind hasn't been too bad today out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. And temperatures are a little bit warmer for you. Lafayette and Peru, Muncie in the middle 60s. That's where we haven't had much in the way of rain today. Meanwhile, you're at 59 in Bloomington and 61 in Columbus. Storm Team 6 radar kind of divides the state here. Areas north and west of Indianapolis not going to see much rainfall at all. It's really from Indy into the southeast where we'll continue with some scattered showers, and some of those extending through the Anderson area. Also going to be moving back in some light rain around Muncie, back through the downtown area into Greenwood. And you can see this basically goes along and south of Interstate 70 into Bloomfield. Patchy light rain around the Bloomington and Nashville areas, but this also extends back into Missouri. So as long as this kind of hangs out across southern portions of Indiana, we will keep those chances for showers going. 51 for the overnight, mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers. TrueCast shows that by 11 o'clock, it's going to be fairly light rain, not going to add up to much, but areas south of I-70 could pick up around another ½ inch, a little bit less than that, I think, in some of these steadier showers. Greensburg, Seymour, into Bedford and Bloomington. By mid-morning tomorrow, the lightest of the screen I don't think is going to be making it to the ground, but mid to late morning we should get all of the wet weather out of here, and that sunshine returns pretty quick in the day. So temperatures I do think will recover here after spending much of the morning in the 50s. We'll get close to 70 with sunny skies for the afternoon, and that's seasonably cool for this time of year. 70 degrees in Bloomington, upper 60s Lafayette, Muncie at 68. And looking ahead, we'll continue a little bit of a warming trend here with sunshine. So dry weather for much of the week ahead. 71 our high on Tuesday, 75 on Wednesday, but that warming trend may not last terribly long here, because as we actually look toward the middle of the month, we see below average temperatures are going to be taking over across much of the Midwest and Ohio Valley here, where our average high is in the middle 60s. Let's put it all together for you now in the 7-day planning forecast, and we've got those temperatures looking pretty good here the next few days. Again, a few morning showers on Monday, otherwise a dry stretch of weather all the way through Thursday as we'll approach 80 degrees degrees Thursday afternoon with partly sunny skies, and next chance for rain, that's Friday and into Saturday morning here, where we'll have a little bit of rain, but certainly some cooler temperatures. We'll go from 78 for the high on Friday to 57 on Saturday. And there we go. Into Sunday morning, we'll be on frost watch here. Patchy frost is going to be possible with temperatures dipping into the upper 30s, but looking pretty good for the afternoon with that sunshine and 62.
Frost watch. Very interesting.
Yeah, we started off the month with 90s and already talking about frost.
Oh, good to live in Indiana.
Back and forth.
All right, Kyle, thank you. It's a group of women often most vulnerable to crimes like sexual assault. So why isn't more being done to help them? A new documentary digs into that troubling issue.
In 12 months, no payments, no interest.
More than half of American Indian and Alaska Native women have experienced sexual violence in their lifetimes. But an investigation by our sister company, Newsy, uncovers how race, politics, and the law have prevented the group most likely to be raped in America from finding justice. Here's Newsy producer Marin Mackless.
A national conversation about sexual assault has taken over the country, but the racial group most likely to be raped in the U.S. hasn't been a part of the discussion.
Native women have told me that what you do when you raise a daughter in this environment is you prepare her for what to do when she's raped, not if, but when.
I was a victim when I was 13. A victim when I was 14, and a victim when I was 34.
These survivors face unique challenges when they seek justice on tribal lands.
I don't have so much hurt now as opposed to anger.
When we think about sexual assault in the United States, it's sort of a linear understanding of how the justice system works. When we move that same crime into Indian country, onto a reservation, and you add all these extra pieces to it, where you have the federal government, tribal government, maybe even the state government, it becomes much more complex. It makes that conviction even more difficult to attain. If one agency drops the ball, the whole house of cards falls.
A Newsy investigation has found sexual predators often receive minimal or no punishment, and survivors are left with little justice. Year after year, the federal government fails to adequately fund and staff tribal justice systems, even though they are legally required to do so. And federal restrictions on most tribal courts have limited the maximum sentence for any crime, including rape, to 1 year.
Why are we different than every other person? Why don't we have the justice everybody else does?
Stream the full documentary, A Broken Trust, starting Monday, October 7th on Roku and Amazon Fire.
If you don't have Roku or Amazon Fire, don't worry. Newsy's full investigation can be found wherever you stream content. And again, that happens tomorrow. Is Earth the final frontier for trash from outer space? Coming up, the impact debris from far and beyond can have on something as basic as your cell phone.
Easier. Hardee's new 2-3 More menu.
Here on Earth, we generate about 230 million tons of trash every year, but we're not the only ones accumulating trash. Space is too. And one company tells Andy Taylor how this trash could cause problems with our cell phone service and how new technology could help.
Since the 1950s, we've been launching spacecrafts and satellites into space.
Right now, there's 8,100 payloads, or pieces that have been launched into space since the beginning of the space age, that are currently up there.
From old satellites to broken pieces off a rocket, space trash is an emerging problem.
Some of that debris will take 100 years to come down.
That's Bruce Davis, and his team at Rocore designed new technology to help collect and bring down the leftover trash floating in space. Bruce says what goes up doesn't necessarily mean it comes down. Here's how their technology works. It's attached to a satellite before it gets launched. After it's up in space for the allotted time it was supposed to be, a timer goes off, deploying the long metal sheet. this helps drag down the space trash to the Earth's atmosphere.
The re-entry is so fierce that it just completely melts and vaporizes before it hits the ground.
If we allow space trash to accumulate, well, future satellites used for cell service or cable and internet could potentially collide with leftover junk, destroying the satellite and ultimately affecting your services. Bruce says to think of space trash collecting as the beginning of air travel.
But it wasn't until it became a dependable form of travel for the whole world did we need something like the FAA to regulate where those airplanes are and make sure that collisions weren't occurring, that everything was happening safely.
Right now, there is no government mandate to put the ROCOR device on new satellites. It's currently Good Samaritans opting to help out in the future efforts to keep space clean. I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
Back here on Earth, we got a few rain showers moving through. One of those in Morgan County, going to bring a downpour around Martinsville, also into Mooresville. The rest of it is fairly light, but those rain chances will continue overnight and into tomorrow morning. Then we'll dry things out. Quite a bit of sunshine and temperatures recovering close to 80 degrees by Thursday and Friday, but much cooler next weekend.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night.